This show is brought to you by Manscaped. Use the code AFTV for 20% off your order and free shipping at manscaped.com. AFTV, we are here in the studio. Big up Cecil was at the game today. I feel sorry for him with all that.
I
don't. The rain, the wind, and a 0-0, right? It looked like I dodged the right game today. But no, listen, watching it on TV, it wasn't a great spectacle. The weather had a part to play in it, I think. You don't want to, and it's the same for both teams. Yeah. It's not that I'm making any excuses, but it was swirly, it was horrible, it was constant, it was heavy, and neither team really. Well, Brighton were the better team, but neither. I mean, in our team, we just didn't play very well. I
didn't think it weren't a great game. To be fair, was it? It weren't a great game, no. But you know, it is what it is. It's a point.
It's a point. Good point or points dropped.
That's a difficult question, that, isn't it? Like, a really tough one. Like, I think it's a point probably at the end of it, because we've played that bad and ain't played that well. I suppose you look at it as a point gained. But realistically, you know, I was hoping for 3 today.
Yeah. Well, listen, we're going to get into the player ratings. I'm going to give my ratings. You give your rating, I'll give my rating, yeah? On each player. Let's see what we made of it. In goal, Aaron Ramsdale. Clean sheet?
I think if he was a bit dodgy on the one cross, which he dropped, but other than that, I think he's been, you know, conditions. Well, I'm going to allow it. Conditions difficult for me. 8 out of 10 for me today. I thought he was.
It's high, isn't it?
You know, made a couple of good saves as well. They cut that save from. I don't know who it was when it bounced just before he pushed it out. You know, so I think I'm going to give him an 8, maybe a bit too high, but no,
I'll probably give him a 7. I thought that you know what, for a goalkeeper, the conditions are horrible.
Yeah.
And he had to deal with a lot of corners. And he dealt with all of them. There was that one that he dropped that, you know, could have been a horrible moment, but he did recover well, was brave, put his body on the line. And like you said, that one that was sort of crossed in, that he sort of got his hand to. When you think about it, he didn't have a lot of saves to make, did he? That's the thing, you know what I mean?
2 good saves, and he got one that come across he had to get to as well. He done everything that you asked the goalkeeper to do, really, I suppose.
Yeah. I'll give him a 7.
Go on then, 7.
I'm going to give him a 7. All right, let's go to the fullbacks. Tomiyasu today. Takehiro Tomiyasu at right back.
6 bordering on 7. I'm going to go just on a 7 because I thought he turned it around in the second half. I thought the long hair for the number 3 was superb in the first half. Caused him a few problems, but he stuck with it.
Yeah.
And in the second half, he evened it out a little bit, like, you know. So I felt he'd done okay. So 7 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I think I'd give him the 6. I thought he was in the first half. He was getting a bit terrorised in that first half, but fair play to him. I thought, and remember, this is a player that's like, these are baptisms of fire for players like that. Wouldn't have played in them sort of conditions in Italy, right? Wouldn't have that intensity, I don't think, in a game like that over in Italy. And he recovered well. And like, I agree with you. In the first half, he was getting a run around. But in the second half, what I noticed he did in the second half, he just kept it simple. He was no longer trying to do little cutbacks and turns and that. If it had to go row Z, it went row Z. Yeah. If it had to be a simple layoff, it was a simple layoff. He just went simple, back to basics, and that contributed towards the clean sheet. So I'll give him a 6, just basically because he's quite, on the first half, he's getting a run around. But a 6 for me. Kieran Tierney on the other side, left back.
5.
Ooh.
I thought he was poor today. His crossing wasn't good enough at times when he got forward. He didn't get forward enough for me as well. I know probably that was a defensive thing. The header at the back post, he should have got when Ramsdale made the save, out jumped at the back post. I don't think he's playing that well. I thought he played really well against Spurs the other day, but other than that, he hasn't been playing that well. And I didn't think he was really that good today, in my opinion.
You know what? Did I give him less than Tomiyasu, though? I think maybe, you know what, I think I might sort of side with you in the fact, no, I can't give him less than that. No, I'll give him a 6 as well.
Okay.
I thought, listen, if he's in the back four that's contributed towards a clean sheet in them conditions, I can't give him a 5. It was a battling performance. Yeah, you're right, that near post, that one at the back post when he won a great performance. But I think I'll give him a 6 because it was tough conditions out there.
Oh, that's for you. You're being very kind with him. Look, listen, I'm a big Tierney fan, by the way. You know what I mean. But I don't think
you always say that after you disappoint.
But I don't think he has been at the races this season, and I didn't think it. You know, maybe because I expect a little bit more of him.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I'm saying that.
No, you're right though. I agree with you. He hasn't this season so far. He's not been up to the high levels that he was like. The Tottenham game, I agree with you, he was brilliant, but the other games he hasn't played that great. So, yeah, I'll go 6 though.
Okay, no problem.
All right, let's go. Ben White back at Brighton.
7. Didn't think he'd done a lot wrong. I thought he weren't his sort of game with those conditions, if you like, when you get the ball down and everything. But I felt he swept up on a few occasions well there. And as you say, it's another clean sheet for him. I know, you individually maybe not stand out, but in the group of the 4 or 5, he's doing well. So 7 out of 10 for me. I didn't think he was spectacular.
Yeah. I think I'll agree with you. I think I'd go 7 out of 10 as well. I thought, solid performance by him in terrible conditions. Dealt with everything that, they especially like from the corners as well. They've got a lot of very big players in Dunk and Duffy and all these guys that were playing that, Burn.
They're all easy to play against. Not easy to play against.
And I thought he coped. Like you said, it's not his type of, conditions, wouldn't have suit his sort of silky style of play, but he was solid today. And so 7, I'd agree with that. Gabriel.
8. I thought he was my man of the match. I just think that he done everything you want to do, like wins every header, sweeps up, got round on a few occasions. And to be honest, they've had a couple of chances, but since he's come into the team, we've looked a lot more solid, and I think he was superb again today.
Can't believe it. I'm agreeing with him again. My man of the match as well. Solid, man. I mean, when he's in the team, it's a different Arsenal at the back. The clean sheets have been a big part of those clean sheets, has been down to him.
Yeah.
And again today, brilliant. He's a man mountain there, but he's got ability as well.
Yeah, he's good on the ball.
He's good on the ball. Some good little passes out from the back as well. Commanding performance today by Gabriel. 8 out of 10. My man of the match as well.
Yeah.
Thomas Partey.
Not one of his better performances today. I didn't think he got into the game as much as I'd like to him to done. Again, the conditions maybe, but 6 out of 10 for me. I didn't think he was at the races as he has been. Maybe because he's got another partner alongside him this time. He keeps changing partners every game, which probably is not helping. But that ain't seemed to bother him in the last few games. But today, he's not going to play well every week, and I felt he was probably he weren't bad, but for me, 6 out of 10.
I'll probably give him a 5. I thought he was average today. Please, Thomas Partey as well. He's shooting, man. Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah.
Some of those shooting was
one of them
terrible.
Hit the roof here, didn't it? So
shooting was awful, and sometimes a little bit sloppy. Wasn't terrible. So maybe I don't know. No, actually, I'm gonna give him a 6 because if I've given the other guys a 6, maybe I should give him a 6. But he weren't a great performance by him today. No, actually, no. You know what? I'm sticking with a 5.
Expectations again.
I expect real big things of Thomas Partey because to me he's the game changer. He didn't really dominate that midfield at all today, and it wasn't great from him today. Average performance by him. So 5 by him. Sambi Lokonga.
5. I didn't think it. To be honest, I've been really impressed with him. That was his worst game for us today. He didn't really get into it. I think he got bossed about, give away the ball a few occasions, and that's probably where he is at this moment in time. He's going to do that, a bit hit and miss at the moment. He's 21 years of age, so I don't want to be too harsh on him. But if you're looking on just
baptism of fire again,
performance there. I was hoping for a bit better today, but maybe that's where he is at this moment in time. But not I wouldn't say a bad 5, but just not quite enough to convince me that he could get any higher, really.
Yeah, I think I'd have to agree with you. I think, again, wasn't a great performance. The midfield was the area that I felt that they really controlled the game. And I'm on about Brighton, so that's why they got to get marked down for me. I'd go a 5 for him as well. Wasn't a great performance, just a very average performance. But I think he was a bit better in the second half, but nothing created, nothing, so I'd go 5 for him as well. Martin Odegaard.
5. I thought he worked hard, but really didn't knit anything together today. Didn't really get into the game. I thought last week he was superb against Spurs, so I was expecting a little bit more. But again, conditions maybe didn't suit him and whatever. He was only on for an hour before they took him off. But a 5 for me. Probably his worst game in an Arsenal shirt, if I'll be honest.
Worst game for me, I'd go a bit lower than that. I'd say that was a below average performance by Odegaard. He weren't in the game. He's missing today. There was no passes from him. There was no, he was running around, trying to work, you know what I mean? And I like that he didn't just like give up or nothing. But I'd have to say probably a 4 today. Below average performance for him, for me, by Martin Odegaard. Emile Smith-Rowe.
7. I thought he worked hard today. Looked the most likely out of all the players to score. Run himself into the ground again. Maybe should have done better with a chance. Maybe should have crossed it or whatever. But I thought he was dangerous when he got into it. Some neat touches in the first half. Every time he went through, he got brought down. But listen, it wasn't one of his great performances. But away from home, he worked hard, and he was always a willing worker.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that. 7, had the chance, not many chances in the game, but like you said, he looked the most likely of any of the Arsenal players. Him or Saka looked the most likely. So, yeah, I'd give him a 7 as well. And again, the young guys leading the team.
Yeah.
Saka.
7 as well. I thought he faded towards the end, which is a bit of a worry when you think that we got no midweek games and we look very, very jaded and tired towards the end of the game, last 10 minutes, which is a bit of a worry. Started off, I thought, really well, Saka. All the best things seemed to come from him and Smith-Rowe, and he started off really well. But I thought as the game got further into the game, he tired, and I do worry that Mikel overuses him at times. He could have come off a little bit earlier than that, if I'll be honest. But still, I'm not nowhere near a bad performance.
Yeah.
So 7 for me.
Yeah, I'd give him a 7 as well. Again, just like I said about Smith-Rowe, if anything was going to happen for Arsenal today, it was going to happen through him or Smith-Rowe. He started the game really brightly. I thought the referee didn't protect him. I thought the referee just allowed, Burn and these guys to just put it on him time and time again. John Moss, should have been protecting him a bit more. But, like you said, faded out towards the end, but our most likely player, 7 for Saka. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang.
Oh, tough one. I thought he was poor today. 4. I'm going to say 4. A little bit lack of service doesn't help. But I will say this: he worked hard. He chased down a few things, but on a game like that, tricky conditions, you need someone to hold the ball up and give you a platform. It just kept bouncing off him and all that. It just wasn't his day to day. I don't think you can say it wasn't for the want of trying. I think I would be more concerned if he was just strolling around. He did work hard today. Didn't really get any of that chance. He had the header, which is, you could say, is unlucky. The chance that when he went through 1-on-1, it didn't matter if he'd have scored it. It was still not been given. He was offside. So I don't really look at that as a chance. You'd like to think that he'd bury it, but then at the end of the day, that was his only real chance. Tough day for him.
Yeah, I agree with you. Tough day. I agree with a 4 as well. Thought he was poor today. Like you said, it's hard, isn't it, sometimes on these strikers because no service, and it weren't the game for him. No. You saw when Lacazette came on, he held it up better. Yeah. It weren't the game for Aubameyang. Probably should have come off earlier. Yeah, poor. Below average performance for him. 4, I feel, is very fair what you've given him there. Lacazette, let's get into the subs. Lacazette, he came on.
A 6. I thought he done, held the ball up a little bit better. I felt should have come on a little bit earlier. Yep. Give us a little bit of a platform. If it weren't for him, it was his hold-up play that got him Smith-Rowe for the chance. I felt that if he'd have come on a little bit earlier, we might have been able to get a strong hold of the game, which we didn't have. We didn't have any part of that game where you could say we was in control of it because we never had a platform. He'd give us that a little bit. There was a bit of 10-minute, 15-minute spell when I thought, we might nick this. Yeah. And then the last 5-10 and we didn't. So I don't think he'd done anything wrong without looking like scoring, but holding up is a difficult job to do, and I didn't think that he'd done himself any favours to get himself into the team, but I don't think he'd done anything to say, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, you should have come on earlier. And, I'm agreeing with everything you're saying. What's going on? I'd agree with a 6 as well because he did have an impact. And, we should have got him on earlier. I agree with you. Yeah. We should have got him on earlier. So, I think 6 is fair. Pepe.
5. And I'll tell you what, could even be louder than that, but everybody be going like, I'm a Pepe hater and all that. I'm not a Pepe hater, but that was a chance for him today to come on. 30 minutes he had out there today to come on and do something, and he didn't. I think that he'd give it away. That last bit of showboating right at the end with a couple of minutes, that's what will frustrate Mikel, and that's why he doesn't trust him, in my opinion. You know, for me, I would have got Martinelli on and gone a little bit more direct than Pepe, like, you know, if I'll be honest. I didn't think it was the game for Pepe. I know you can go on about conditions and things like that, so I'm trying to give him a little bit of something. Yeah, like it's not all doom and gloom for him, but I just didn't think he'd done enough for me today.
Yeah, for me, you don't have to be so kind. It's a 3 for me. That scores the lowest mark for me. I thought he came on and did absolutely nothing. It was a poor performance by Pepe. You know what I mean? It's probably a bit harsh because he hasn't had a lot of time. Well, you said 30 minutes.
He had 30 minutes
but
today.
He didn't do anything today. He came on, he did nothing. I don't remember anything he did. Right? So, no, it's a poor performance. But you're brought on to make an impact.
Yeah, and he didn't.
And he made 0 impact. So, 3 out of 10 for me. I thought he was poor. Ainsley Maitland-Niles didn't really have enough time.
No, he didn't really have enough
standard
time.
5 because he didn't really have enough time. Mikel Arteta.
6. I'm going to say today. I felt that he got the team. I thought he'd got the team right, but I do feel with Mikel, he's far too cautious in games. I think that game was there to be won. It was there to be lost as well, as I said earlier on. But ultimately, sometimes you've got to go for it. You know what I mean? Make the decisions. I don't understand what Martinelli doesn't get game time. That was a perfect sort of game for me. And I will say this, you know, Saka tired. He was not getting back in the last 5 minutes. Still no sign of bringing anybody on. It was only when he got injured that he decided to bring Maitland-Niles. I thought it should have been done earlier than that, like, you know. And I felt with the Aubameyang one, like, you could see that it wasn't his game. That could have even happened at half time, if I'll be honest. It would have been harsh to leave Aubameyang out after his performance against Tottenham. But horses for courses, they're big, strong players at the back. It wasn't one of those games off the shoulder. It was one of you need to get your foothold of the game. So I felt that he didn't do that early enough for me.
I'm agreeing with you again. A 6, I guess, yeah, because, you know, at the end of the day, sometimes you just got to get out of there with a point. You haven't lost the game. The momentum, even though it's been killed a bit because it's not a win, but it's not a defeat. So you can still look on it and say, right, 4 games, no defeats, 3 wins, we're still moving. But I still look on it sometimes saying, be a bit braver, man. I mean, Brighton, they're missing Welbeck and Basuma. Come on, man. Let's stick it on them a bit more. You know what I mean? I would have brought Martinelli on as well. I would have made some changes early with an intent to win the game. And he didn't. He was like, right, let's not lose this game. And he got that out of it, but I wanted to see a bit more. So I agree with you, 6. The referee, John Moss.
6. I felt, you know, he didn't protect our players as well as he should do. But most of the decisions that he got, there weren't no real bad decisions that he got. There weren't no howlers. So you have to look at it and say, look, be fair on him. Like, do you know what I mean? But I don't like him.
Yeah, I give him a 5. I don't like seeing when he's refereeing games. Doesn't keep up with play for me. You know, I mean, it was a little bit inconsistent. Where he allowed a lot of things for Brighton, didn't seem to allow them for us. There were no decisions in there that changed the game or anything, you know. But I'll nah. And the fans today, down there in the rain, in the high winds, high rain literally. When I called Cecil earlier, you know, that was from about 1 o'clock. It was pouring down with rain then. It was pouring down with rain right. I mean, it's like been about 7-8 hours non-stop. The fans have been out there in fine voice.
I always big the fans up. I know what the away support's like. 10 out of 10 for them
10 out of
today.
10 in those conditions. Trust me, you guys, do not underestimate how hard it is. And then you've got to drive back after that in the queues and the traffic, and to go all that way. 10 out of 10 to the fans.
And it was full up again, wasn't it? Like, you know what I mean? There was no empty seats or nothing like that.
I had so many people asking me for tickets. So 10 out of 10 to the fans. Big up to the fans. It's ended. Brighton 0, Arsenal 0. A point for Arsenal going into the international break. Mikel Arteta will look on it and say 4 games after the horror start. 3 wins, 1 draw. We move.